Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Sacha Jones, and today we're gonna learn how to get more gigs as a musician. This is something that comes up all the time. People are asking me, how do I get booked? How do I get more gigs? How do I get noticed by those decision makers to get on more bills? So hopefully this video will answer a few questions. It's for the here and now for 2019. So maybe we'll have to do this video again in a couple of years, but hope you enjoy. So these are the few ways that you can get more gigs as an up-and-coming musician in 2019. Number one, something that's very important to have is a music sharing platform that is freely streamable. So the decision makers will go through hundreds of different emails per week or even per day for some. So it's very important to make it easy for them and not send a bunch of different private attachments in zip files, in AYZ, in a bunch of different places. So try to keep it concise, try to keep it at a place that is very just one click and play, so that way the person doesn't have to work because obviously if it's getting too complicated because you want to keep it private, it may cause a little bit of friction for that person to actually listen to your music. So I suggest Bandcamp or even SoundCloud. Those are two very good platforms that everybody knows and that is easy to go. Spotify, believe it or not everybody has an account there. So it could be a little bit harder for some people that aren't on Spotify to listen to your sound because it's not freely streamable. So keep that in mind. Just a one link, very easy, clickable, and there you go. Number two, obviously, building a social media presence. So right now, obviously, Facebook and Instagram are in the lead, but whatever new cool platform comes out is fair game. What I would suggest is to try to keep it at one or two platform maximum. The reason why I say this is because if you're on a bunch of different platforms, putting a bunch of different content out, well, you're watering down your actual fan base and separating it across these different places. So especially when you're starting out, the event planners or bookers will want to know how many engaged fans you have. So not just the number of likes, but how many people interact with your content, how many people are following it, commenting on it, to see if these are actual real fans or they're just faked followers and bot likes. Speaking of bot likes and fake followers, please don't do that. Anybody that's in the industry has a trained eye and will know when a following is faked. It's very obvious if you have more than 50,000 likes, but you don't have anything really to show for, that something is a little bit off. So that's number one. And number two, it will actually hurt on your reach of organic content. So if you fake your followers, the actual content that you're trying to put out to your real followers will come up in less news feeds because the algorithm knows that it's being tricked. So those are the two reasons why you shouldn't buy fakes and followers. Just try to build a real legit organic fan base and people, you will be rewarded for real fans and not fake ones. So those are the two main basic reasons why you can even get out the gate before going. You don't need a fancy website. You don't need a press kit for now. Those are things that is only useful once you get to a certain level. But for now, just focus on those two easy things: making great music, putting it and creating content on social media, and make it freely streamable, or at least a few songs that are freely streamable and easy to access. Number three is conflict of interest. So when you're trying to hit up a event planner to get your band booked, they don't want to be in second place. So what I mean by that is that if you freely try to get as many gigs in the same city as possible, like 1 or 2 days, nobody wants to mooch off, or the band they're booking mooch off their crowd necessarily. So the goal is for you to be able to leverage your fan base at every single show that you go to. If, for example, you book a show with someone and book another one that's 2 or 3 days after, or even 1 week away, that's a conflict of interest because it means that you're one of the two people that you're booking with is kind of coming second. So basically the goal is to try to aim for at least 1 month. You can do more if the gigs that you're being booked for are private or non-public. But if not, try to keep it at 1 month if they're public gigs that you're trying to solicit your fan base to go to. So conflict of interest is definitely interesting and important to look into when you're trying to reach out for dates to these different promoters. The next tip, which goes without saying, is you should never burn bridges with the people that you work with. Sometimes some bands that will reach out and I don't have enough information on them, I will maybe ask other people that I've seen that they worked with in the past. So if, for example, you went to another gig and you were late, you didn't bring anyone, you kind of didn't care for the greater good of the event, well, people will probably remember that. So if, like between promoters, we talk to each other all the time for different reasons and for different tips, different asks for different bands, especially independent promoters. So these are things that will get known. So it's very important to be very good with the different people that you work with if you want to have a long-term and longevity in this industry. So it should be kind of a given. Not being an asshole is probably something that you should strive for in everyday life. But not just that, but being professional and helping out the events that you go to. And, you know, good karma will bring you back. So as you work well with a bunch of different people, they will want to work with you again, and they will definitely recommend you to others as well. So it's very important to keep good relations in this business. So wrapping up, let's say if you are to go and reach out to a cold email to a different event planner, these are the different things that you need to check out. So number one, research who is in your niche. That way you can maybe get a name. Ideally, if you have a name, then that would be who the email is addressed to make it a little bit more personalized rather than a huge bulk email to a bunch of different people. Number two, keep those links short and sweet. You don't need to put your entire bio and every single thing that you've ever done in your music career. It is not necessary at this point. You just have to keep it short and sweet for a clear and concise email. Number three, if you can tell them a bunch of different ways that you think that you will promote the show, how you'll do it, how you'll create content that will be of use for the show. You know, tell them you have maybe a newsletter, you have this many number of fans that you can successfully reach out. So also a estimate of the number of people that you successfully think that will end up to your show is definitely a good thing to put in there. So if you have a few of those things, plus what we discussed earlier about how to craft your email, how to craft something that is a pitch that people will want to work with you, you're already way ahead of the pack. So basically, just in conclusion, try to keep it positive, try to keep it, helpful. Basically, it's supposed to be a win-win collaboration when you are trying to reach out to these people. So try to craft your pitch in a way that it will be a win-win with the event planner that you're working with. If basically it's a handout, then maybe you're not quite at the level that you can successfully try to get more gigs, especially paying gigs. So if you're still kind of, building up your fan base, then maybe try to either do open mics, do shows DIY style, or maybe, not charge and do it for free to get a little bit more exposure and get at least some kind of fan base going on, so that as you reach out to different event planners, it makes sense for them to try to give you a proper fee for your performance. So at the beginning, when you're just starting out, really it's a question of building your fan base and building the content that you're kind of putting together to show people that want to work with you what you're about, what you've done.